Hey guys, good morning. Craig Rapihana here again. It's that morning Joe in the morning, So one of the things I want to quickly talk to you about is reps and team members, because one of the things that you have to think about is that there's a difference between a distributor and also a sales rep. Now, sales rep typically can work on anywhere from 3 to 10%, and that's all going to depend on the product and the volume that you're doing and really what the setup is. Some of them might want like a couple of, $500 to $1,000, $1,500 up front, and that's okay if they're going to do a lot of the spreadsheets, a lot of the Excels. They're going to be really, really engaging, but you really have to make sure that your team that you're building, and like the team that I have, actually get things done, because otherwise you'll quickly find out that you've been paying about $6,000 and you don't have a PO yet. So you have to quickly decide how you want to do that. Now, you'll always get a lot of people that can say to you, yeah, I can do this, I'll manage this, I'll manage this. But really, at the end of the day, dude, they all drop the ball because they're all in there for a certain amount of money. And if that money's met, great. You typically want to find, and like the guys that I have that are already very, very successful, they don't have to survive on your income. But if they are, and you're the only work that they have, it's so stressful because it's like you're trying to pay a person who doesn't have bus money to go and see the retailer, and yet wants commission on everything, but yet not willing to do the work because he's out there looking for more work. So you have to quickly decide how you want to do it, because no one's really going to sell it better than you. And I can give you as much advice and much content as possible and point you in the right direction, and hopefully, hook you up with a lot of my team members that actually get things done. And then you've also got the distributors. Now, these guys are going to come in and say, hey, yeah, we can manage this, we can manage that. But here's the truth. This is the thing that really bugs me, is that they know about your brand, they know about your product, and they always come in once you have the vendor number. And then they just sit back, and no one realizes this. They sit back and they clean all the money off the top end because they haven't done the setup that you've done. So you got to quickly decide on that. And the other thing is they want 20, 30 points. I mean, most guys want 35%. So that means that they want to take 35% of your wholesale. Okay? So that means you're making let's say the product's $10. You're making the product for $5, right? And you're going to sell it for 10. You're only going to make $2, right? 20% of that, and they're going to make 30%. So you have to say, okay, I'm going to make this product for $5. I'm going to sell it for $7. I mean, yeah, they'll do all the work for the 30%. But if you've already done the work and you've done all the setup, that's one thing. But if you want to go into a store like, say, 4,000 Home Depot, different stores like, say, CVS or Walgreens or any of those sort of stores, then yeah, there's going to be a lot of restacking the shelves. It all comes down to what your product is. Now, if it's just a Bed Bath & Beyond, or let's say it's just a Target or a main store, you don't typically have to go in and start servicing all those stores. It's really the sort of the low end, and I mean that in a good way, the low end where just the turnover is really quick, like the CVS and the Walgreens, where they make so much product just move. And of course, you've seen some of the personnel there. I've never seen one of those personnels undo a box. So you got to have crews, so they pay for that. So you have to decide quickly on what your plan of attack is, because you also, one thing you want to do is think about your forecasting, because if you go in with a national distributing or a national rep and you've got these big companies taking 30 points, that's great. But you have to be careful, because here's really what happens is people don't, and I saw this in real estate when I was doing real estate, but people don't realize the replacement value. Okay, so you're making a product for $5, okay? Okay, you're making a product for $5 and you're selling it for $7. Okay, you're left with $2. Okay, where's the other $3 going to come for replenishing? You know, you basically got to get that product for $2.50, let's say, and you've got to sell it for $7. So you keep 20%. Now, the golden rule that most people work on is about 69% income when you're doing yourself and 19% when you're just pushing it out the door. You're doing like FOB pricing. But you have to make sure, don't screw this up. Make sure that if you're buying a product for $3, you're getting more than $6 back. Because at $6, you can rebuy your product, but you're not paying for your power, you're not paying for your lights, you're not paying for your cell phone, you're not paying for your bills. You typically want to have a minimum of 19% in there for an operation expense. So you sell it for 19% more than that $6. So quickly calculate that. So think about your reps. Or you have the 5% reps that go out there and they do it. You're keeping a lot more than money. But it all comes down to how big you want to grow, how fast you want to grow, because a national distributor can put you so far in debt, it's unbelievable, because they're going to sell a shit ton, and that's great. But you have to think about your 60, your 90, your 60 and 30, 60 and 90 days. Plus, you've got to allow 25 days on the water. Okay, it's 14 days to go to California on the average container, but by the time you clear customs, and are you going to move it from California? Are you going to pay more taxes in California? Or you're going to bring it into a place like Chicago. You're going to bring it into a place like, the Midwest, wherever you are. We have an office in Chicago. It's 25 days to there without any hiccups. And that all depends if there's any stock, strikes or anything. That's typically, there's been, I think, 3 this year, or 2 this year so far in LA. Or you bring them in for Vancouver. But at the end of the day, you have to think about how much money you need to keep on the back end, how much can you afford to replenish, and how long. So you have to forecast based on your reps. So you might not be ready to do the big distributing reps unless you've got large capital, you've got access to that, or you can have then someone come in and say, hey, I'll cover the PO. But then someone covers you for a PO, you still have to have the replacement value, plus you're going to give 30 points, which means you're going to leave 10, it's going to leave 20 for you, but then you've got to probably pay 10% on that PO. So the reps, the forecasting, and the replenishing are the 3 things you need to look at. If you can get those 3 in a line, you'll be perfect. But it's a patience game. Slower person wins the race because you're able to get things into order. And the fact is, you might not be able to manage a $10 million business because you can't bring in enough product and you can't ship enough product and you don't have enough money to run that product. And, you'd be like me on one of my first products is that everything was great, knocking on doors, selling the product. Yeah, this is great. Hey, we're going to be multimillionaires, and yeah, everything's cool. And then you get a $180,000 PO, and you're like, I'm going to have to where am I going to get the money from? Then you start saying, okay, can I get the manufacturer to float me the extra days for the getting the money in from the retail for the retailer? Do I go to these sharks and banks and get like a 3%? Or hard money, or it's stressful. So sometimes being really aggressive will basically put you in the lion's den with a whole lot of the lines, and you'll probably lose. So you want to be very, very careful and calculate how you do your reps. Okay, you're going to either do the 5% route or you're going to do the 30% route. But make sure that if you're going to give 30%, to a distributor, you make sure that you've got your money back plus 20%. So replacement cost plus 20%. $3 product, you want to make sure you get 6 in the hand, and you're making, you're making another, you're making 19%, 20% right in there. That's going to be enough to do it. Now, it might be enough on a larger scale. You'll do well, and you'll start to use VAs, and I'll teach you how to do that. But at some point, the cleaner it is, the better it is. All right, got to go. Keep it easy and keep working.